So in the last class, I was talking about the 3D phase diagram, and you can clearly see that this is it contracts upon freezing. Contracts upon freezing means if I look up this diagram from the top, that means temperature and volume. If I look up this diagram from the top, then I will see temperature and volume, right? And you can see that this is solid and liquid. That means along this line, right? Along this line, see if I draw a line here, let me draw a line here. If I draw a line along this, say for example, like constant temperature line. So here the along this line the temperature and pressure both are constant because solid is being transformed to liquid. So you can see here the volume is increasing, right? The volume is specific volume is increasing. That's what is specific volume? That is meter cube per kg, right? From solid to liquid. So it becomes liquid to solid, then the specific volume will decrease, right here. So this is a constant temperature line, right? This is a constant temperature line that I've drawn. So this is from solid to liquid. So the volume changes when solid to liquid. And if it's the other one freezing, then it decreases. But look at this. If I draw a line here, let me do it with red, right? If you do it along this, right? And then along this and whatever. So I have to go down. How it will go down? Maybe. Let me see. It's a little bit confusing to do this. Let me just explain without drawing anything. So here you can see this solid to liquid. Here, solid to liquid. So this is my solid here, and this is the liquid phase. So when it goes from solid to liquid, right? Here the specific volume is, if you look at it from the top, specific volume is decreasing, solid to liquid, and liquid to solid, it is increasing. So that is why this drawing is different, right here, right? Anyway, so these are some minute details. So that is why these two are different pictures. Now I have already explained to you that when liquid and vapor coexist, that means it is from liquid, it is going from liquid to vapor. So here it is superheated region. Steam is superheated, right? And this is the liquid line, saturated liquid line. On this side it is liquid. So this is pure liquid and this is pure vapor, right? And X is the amount of vapor. G means vapor. So X is the amount of vapor. And once in this region, you have to specify P sat X or T sat X, T saturation and X. Because here, when it goes from liquid to vapor, the pressure and temperature remains constant. It remains constant. So if you can either specify P sat or T sat. So one of them you have to specify P sat or T sat, or I will write or T sat and X. What is X? X is the fraction. Okay, it is the vapor fraction. Okay, so these two, but in this superheated region where single phase, P and T is enough, right? P and T is enough. But here either P or T and X. Similarly, when it is liquid also, P and T is enough. You know, these are the independent variables, and the other quantities depend on these independent variables. Now here we will talk about the first law. Now here instead of U, I will write E. I will tell you why. I will include other forms of energy also. Internal energy, use internal energy as energy. I will write total energy. Right. So E will consist of U internal energy plus kinetic energy plus potential energy. So that is why I want to be more general. So where U is the internal energy, that is now when kinetic energy, potential energy are 0, then we can say, you know, it is U. Okay, so E is equal to U when Ke equal to 0, E equal to 0, right? So this is more simplified. So we by now we know what is heat transfer, right, across the boundary, and you can also have work transfer along the boundary. So energies are caused by displacement of a macroscopic portion of the system on which the surroundings exert a force, or because other kind of you know, forces. Okay. So basically the first law, it is a balance sheet for the energy of the system. Right. So this is the energy contained within the system, E, and if potential energy, kinetic energy is 0, then E is the internal energy, and it is because of there is, now I will tell you why I'm putting a cross in the D, and here I'm not doing it, because these are path functions. They are, I will call them as path functions. Both of them are path functions. That is why I'm putting a cross here. While this is U is a state function. Right? For simple cases, Ke and Pe should be considered to be 0, and so U becomes a it's a state function. State function. These two are path functions. Now there are different types of work that you can have. You know, instead of work type of, I will also, it'll be better to write work, or I will say more general, mechanical energy transfer. Okay. So what is this mechanical energy? It includes, right, work, then kinetic energy, potential energy, right, plus work plus potential. So I'm making more general, mechanical energy. So here sometimes we you know, it is like work, you know, basically what it is really mechanical energy. So expansion work when you have a force. You have a force and you are having a displacement. So the externally it is applying force on the gas. Suppose this is a piston. So therefore the gas will also exert, because of Newton's law, it will also exert equal and opposite reaction. It will also exert some force. So if I don't have the friction, then F gas is equal to F external force. Now, so here the work, so and if x is the distance, so F external is in the negative direction, so I wrote negative surrounding and dx. So this is how it is doing work against the surrounding, So this is a more general way. So this is the system is exerting force, and this is surrounding. So if it is expanding in the outward direction, right? So this is called displacement work or expansion work. Displacement work or expansion work. Now similarly, uh, you can have transfer of kinetic energy. Now, how will you have transfer of, say, let us talk about potential energy. Potential energy, if this whole body is lifted up, it's elevated, then mg is the force. So against that force, mg, you are elevating it. So that is also some sort of a work transfer. And it is called negative because we say that work transfer is positive when it is going out into the surrounding, right? So work transfer or mechanical energy transfer, if we have, right? So here, positive work or mechanical energy. And when we talk about heat transfer, right? This is positive. Okay, this is positive and this one. So from outside to inside, heat transfer is positive and work transfer is positive when it goes from the system to surrounding. Right? So that is why it is different. So this is the convention that we will follow from now on. So similarly, you can have mechanical energy also, where velocity, this is the velocity of the center of mass. So how will that change? Say if your system is, say, expanding, right? Or if it is, say, for example, we are analyzing a rocket, right? The rocket is our uh, system. That system is going up. So then it will have some kinetic energy. So then other than internal energy, you will have potential energy as well as kinetic energy because it is having some velocity, right? So these are the different kinds of mechanical energies. So the resultant, if you have net energy input, right, from outside, that means heat transfer minus work transfer, then the energy inside the system has to go up. That is the energy balance that I was talking about. Now this is PDV work. PDV work means here I have some sort of a system, right? As I told you, that expansion that I'm having, a piston, right? So it is having a P and V is the volume, right? So if I have a diagram like P and this is the volume, total volume, not velocity, then, and if it is expanding, so pressure is decreasing, volume is expanding. So this is some sort of a path, right? So initial and this is final, right? And these are all
Excuse me, sir.
yes.
Sir, like I'm confused, sir. In the last slide, why there is a negative sign in kinetic energy equation?
Which one? This one, right?
Yes, sir. Last equation, sir.
This Z is positive, and so here this is a decrease, right? We are talking about dWke, right? So if the kinetic energy is decreasing inside the system, then work is going out, right? So work is going out. So that is why I have written it like this, right? So so this means either I have to put it here, right? So I will, when I write when I do examples, I will dwell on it more, right? So
Like, sir, the total mechanical energy is conserved, right? So the potential energy and kinetic energy should have opposite sign, right? I guess.
I will dwell on it, right, little bit later.
Okay, sir.
I'll dwell on it later. I will come back to it. Okay. So here, so if it is well defined, right? This is well defined. So that means they are in, I will say they are quasi-static. Quasi-static, right? And they are well defined. So then if they are well defined, then I can integrate it, right? I will be able to integrate that. So this PdV, PdV. Yeah. So these signs I will again discuss later on, right? So there are different kinds of conventions. What we'll follow is when work gets transferred from the system to surroundings, there will be positive, the other one will be negative. So this is the work, right? This is the work. Calculation of the work. This is the work, W, right? W. Okay. Positive or negative, that we'll see. Right? So basically this is the expansion work. Now suppose I have some free expansion. What is free expansion? Free expansion means that on the other side you have say I will give you an example of free expansion here. Let me give you an example of free expansion. Say for example, are you able to hear me? Hello? Are you able to hear
Yes,
me?
sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So suppose I have a partition, right? And here you have some P and some temperature, right? And of course, so the state is well defined. And then what you do is you take out the partition. And say initially you have say vacuum here, right? Initially you have vacuum on this side. So you have PT and you have vacuum here. So now I remove the partition. So this is, I will call it example of free expansion. So here work transfer is 0. So this is so against the work transfer here, because this, if you have an expansion like that, so this expansion would be it is within the body, of course. This is my so-called surrounding. So here, so this is not doing any work, this expansion that you am having. So because it is against the vacuum, so this is called a free expansion, right? So there could be cases where there is free expansion, right? Now the other concept is the flow work. So what is the flow work? Say I have a say I have like this something. So now when this weight is coming down, right? Weight is coming down, and so it is losing its potential energy, right? It is losing its potential energy. So there is a work transfer. So this could be filled with some sort of a fluid here, right? Right, some sort of fluid here. So through this shaft, right, there is no expansion or anything, but through this shaft, we're able to transfer the work, right? So, or suppose I have, uh, or this could also be driven by electric motor, right? It could also be driven by electric motor. So if I have a electric motor here, right, and I have a stirrer, right? So positive, negative, right? Run by battery and then starter. Then also it is, I'll say work transfer. Or suppose I am having some sort of a resistance here, right? Some electrical resistance. Okay, positive, negative, right? So this is resistance. So here also I will say work transfer, right? Some voltage and current I being transfer, right? This will also I will call as work. I will not call it as heat transfer. Whether it's driving a motor or it is through a resistance, this is called work transfer. These are all examples of work transfer, right? Work transfer. Now, so these are all examples of work transfer. So this is shaft work. Out of that, this one now is our shaft work. Or there could be different ways you can do the work, right? Different ways. Now, what is flow work? Suppose I have a so that uh, So here now what can happen is when some material is being pushed, right? Some material, right? Some material is going in, and then some material is right. Say so many kgs per second. Material going in and material going out also. So this volume is being pushed in, say. So this volume is being pushed in. So, so when this volume is being pushed in, so that we call as work transfer. That we call as work transfer. Okay. So how do we calculate that work transfer? Now we can say, suppose here it is say some pressure P 1. So this I will call it as 1, station 1, say station 2. So P1 into area 1, right? Area 1, right? And then into, right, velocity 1. So this actually this velocity. So this is a confusing. Sometimes I'm using V for velocity, sometimes for volume. So this V is normally it's volume in thermodynamics, but here I'm using velocity here. So this gives me the force, and what is this? This is uh, displacement into area 1, right? Displacement into area. So displacement into area. So this is displacement into area. That is the no. This is velocity. I said, right? Dx by. Yeah, let's be confused. Okay. Displacement by, right, over some time. Let me write it differently. Displacement over time. Okay. So this gives you force into displacement work. So this will give you, right, watt, right, in watts. That is joules per, per second, right? So many watts. That is the transfer, right? Joules per second. Or I can also say, I can look at it differently, right? Now this velocity into area, right? Velocity in area, I can look at it differently, and I can say that is velocity. So it will be what? It will be A1 into, right, delta x by delta t, right? So this is area into there. This will give me, right, now again I have to write it as volume, right? Delta volume, right? And then delta, this part is delta t, volume and t. So this is the volume, or we can say this is the displacement. This is basically the displacement, right? This is basically the displacement. The displacement. Okay. Or we can also think of it as volume flow rate or whatever. This is the volume displaced, right? So we can write it as, we can finally write it as, so I can write it as P1 into m dot into V. V is the specific volume. What is specific volume? That is in meter cube. It's a property, right? So m dot into specific volume, if you multiply, then we get this work. This will be our work transfer, right? Work transfer. So basically it is m dot PV into PV, right? M dot into PV. So what is happening is, while we are having flow work, so that is m dot PV is the flow work, right? That, you know, that is because we are pushing. So because it has, there is some velocity and there is some pressure against that, you know, this is being pushed. So it is like a piston being pushed, you know, you're putting it in. So it is some, this is called flow work. So this is my flow work. This is my flow work. So now what happens is, if I am also this internal energy, it also it has a temperature. Not only there is work transfer, there is also it also is carrying some internal energy, right? That is also being pushed in, right? So if I add now, so that means if I add m dot, right, and if I add u, internal energy specific, plus flow work, right, plus work flow, if I add both of them, right, not only through this boundary but through this opening also work is being transferred, right? I will call that as flow work, right? So there is transfer of internal energy along with the flow, and there is also flow work being done. So this I can write it as m dot, right, u plus PV, or equal to m dot into h, right, at the station 1, h1. So this is our enthalpy. So this is enthalpy. So here, so inside I have there is a change in internal energy plus change in kinetic energy plus change in potential energy, while through this I am having my m dot along with that internal energy plus PV, right, plus kinetic energy is coming in, plus potential energy is also coming in, right? U plus PV, while inside you, that PV thing is not there inside, but while it is going in, you have U plus PV. So basically it is becoming like that, m dot H plus kinetic energy plus potential energy at station 1. This is what is going in. What is, and of course it is going out also. And what is happening inside? The internal energy is changing. So this internal energy is changing, kinetic energy is changing, potential energy is also changing, right? So this is coming in and of course going out. So if there is flow, then all these things will happen. So but inside the internal energy will change, kinetic energy, potential energy will change. Sometimes for simplification, inside sometimes we in your school books, probably only change in internal energy is talked about. Maybe kinetic potential energy has not been talked about. Okay. So here, so this is the flow work and shaft work, right? Flow work and shaft work. So because of this flow work, so when it goes in, when a fluid goes in, it that is why we use the enthalpy here, and here we talk about internal energy only because of this flow work that is included. Now, this work is very much path dependent. Say now we know how a fluid behaves, right? So if it is at constant temperature, we know constant temperature means PV equal to RT. Now this is volume. Sometimes I'm using as this volume, I mean. So PV equal to RT, T is constant, right? So it'll be like this. This is a PV, RT. So this is constant. Right? Now this is not the only way you can change pressure and volume, right? If temperature is not constant, so it is going from one temperature to another, along with pressure and volume change, you're also having temperature change, then you can have a path like this, right? So many a times you may have it it, it may be, say, P e to the power n is equal to constant. It may be. So this is called a polytropic process, right? I've told you what is a polytropic process. So where the everything is changing, PV to the power n is constant. This is a polytropic process. So once it is defined, how P and V are changing, you are able to calculate the work. Now what is happening is, so this adiabatic work, I will show you later. This, when you have adiabatic, that means you have a container, right, or whatever, and then right, there is no heat transfer, right? There is no heat transfer. It could be a piston, right? Piston. Piston. So maybe this is not the, I'm not very good at drawing. Okay, this piston can move in both directions. This is a piston, right? So here I have P and this V, right? And of course T. And if it is insulated, it is insulated. Right, that means adiabatic. Adiabatic. I have previously told you adiabatic. I will show you later on when you have adiabatic expansion, right? It follows a polytropic process, right? It follows a polytropic process. So in that case also you can calculate what is the work done, expansion work. So once the PV is defined, path is defined, and it is quasi-static, right? It is not so fast. If it is too fast, then it will not be equilibrium. The temperature will be different at different places, density will be different places, P will be different at different places. It will be very difficult for you to do the calculation. But if it is a quasi-static process, pressure and temperature will be uniform and well defined, and you will be able to calculate. So this has to be slow enough, right? This process, this is called the process, and you can calculate. Now I will talk about heat and work taking place and I will show you some equivalence. Now, let us do a idealized experiment. Say, let this be some sort of a container, and this weight mass can go from stopper 1 to stopper 2. Right? So the first experiment that I do is it goes from T initial value of 300K to 300.10K, a little bit of increase in temperature. How do we do this increase in temperature? I can do it by electrical heating, which is also like work transfer. So if I know what is the current and the voltage, you can multiply them. And if it's for a certain amount of time, we know what is the energy that is being transferred. So that I transfer enough amount of energy here so that it goes, the temperature rises by 0.10 K. That means 0.1 degrees centigrade, right? Now, so this is one way I can increase the temperature. So pressure and pressure is same. This is water, and of course volume is also same. You are just increase the temperature by a small amount. Now again, I do the same thing. I go back to that 300K second experiment. I go from Ti to Tf by paddle work. What do I do? This weight falls, right? So, and there is work being transferred, right? Work transfer is taking place through the shaft, right? And you have, so what will happen to it? As you know, even intuitively, you don't need much understanding that if you do lot of churning here, so even in school days, you know that this temperature should rise, right? So much of energy is being transferred to the water, right? Energy is being transferred to the water. So there is loss in potential energy, right? And here some work is being transferred here. So if you can transfer the right amount of energy, this the state of the water will also change. Pressure and volume will remain same. Okay. Just to make it simple, I've taken water, so the pressure and volume remain same. Now only the temperature will again go up from 300 to 300.10 K. Right. So it has gone from this state to another state. Right. So again, no, this is not right. Work transfer is 0. This is not right. So this is not a right statement. Right. So I can call it work. Actually, this is work transfer here. Although electrical heating, that is work transfer. So here it goes from, now I want to go back. So I want to have a cyclic process now. Cyclic process. So say if I say pressure and temperature, right? I'm having some kind of a cyclic process. So this is temperature, right? Okay. Okay, right. Now I go from so I go from here to okay, here, and I okay, and I right. So it goes here and then comes back here, right? Now while coming back, I don't know. I mean, maybe the black line maybe or may not be a good idea. It may be possible that it'll go back like this. Why I'm telling you is that no, let me differently. Let me make it more realistic actually. The red thing that is happening is because you are paddling here, that may momentarily during the paddling the pressure may be different, little bit different, because you are giving so much of force. So I assume it'll have some path, right? The pressure may change and you will go from say 1 to or I to F, right? And then you 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 allow this insulation that you have, right? So this is the heat loss. Okay, here you have no insulation or insulation removed. So here insulation removed. Here removed, right? Insulation removed. So insulation removed, so naturally you will have heat loss. So here you have insulation. So this way, there are two different ways in which I am going from I to F, right? I to F. One is through electrical heating or through paddle work, right? Two ways. And while coming back, I'm removing the insulation, and then I can come. So 2 and 3 will have a cycle. 1 and 3 will also be a cycle. I go back to the same state. So either I can have 2 and 3 together, or I can have 1 and 3. So it goes in a cycle. So I have a cyclic process. Cyclic process, right? So, and in this case, when I have 2 and 3, or maybe 1 and 3, so in one case I am having work transfer here, and this I am having heat transfer, and it goes back to the same state. So, so in this case, I will show you later that the work transfer, the heat transfer is the same amount. So, so in the early days, when they didn't understand that there is heat transfer and work transfer equivalent, they used to use calories for heat transfer and joules for work transfer. And but if you do this experiment, you will see 1 calorie is equal to 4.187 joules. Right. So this is, and if you express in the same unit, of course, it will be same. Right. So, so they can be equal. The amount of energy can be equal. Right. And another thing that comes out from this, that in the overall change of state, right? Overall change of state in both these cases are different. Although sometimes you're having work transfer, sometimes heat transfer, the overall change, of course, here it's simplified system. Here, I will say that, delta Ke equal to 0, simple 0, of course, here. So, so this is due to change of state, and this is due to some path we are having. Sometimes only having delta W, sometimes only delta Q, right? They both cause the same change in states. So, so work and heat transfer path function. These are all path functions, right? And then you cause some change of state. Now, I will just start something new here. Let me talk about little bit about the some other things. So we have talked about the shaft work. We have talked about the free expansion. We have talked about PDV work, right? Now I will talk about start the concept of the the energy transfer in more detail, right? And the change in state. So I will talk about the say first law of thermodynamics. Law of now the I will just introduce it, and then next time we'll talk in more detail. Now, as I told you, first law is basically energy balance or conservation of energy. Now, a statement of the first law is that during any cycle, right, that a system undergoes, the cyclic integral of heat is proportional to the cyclic integral of work, right? So basically what it's saying is, right, dq is equal to dw. Cyclic. And now you know what is a cycle. I've just told you. Cyclic. You also understand, part of the cycle you are having only heat transfer, a part of the cycle you are having only work transfer, right? So if it is a cyclic process, so this is a cycle, right? So heat transfer equal to work transfer. Here, of course, I am not talking about the, direction is not important, right? Direction. So this I will elaborate. I have already given you an example. I will elaborate in more detail. Now what is happening is, now in the early days, this heat transfer, they used to use calories, and for work transfer, they used to use joules, right? If that is so, then, if these two different units are used, equal to some J into, if you use different units. So while this will be calorie and this will be joule. And of course, if we use the same unit, then we can write it like this, right? So in the right. So here the direction is like this. As I told you, we can use the direction properly. We will say so Q is positive, as I told you, and this is what will follow is positive. Work transfer positive, heat transfer positive. So when it goes in a cycle, whatever Q goes in, then W goes out, right? If it's in a cycle. Right. Say 1 and 2, some say some P, some T or something, right? So it will go from 1 to 2. So this could be one path, right? And this could be another. So it comes back to the same state. So that in the first law statement, this they figured out through experiments. They figured out through experiments, and that is called the Joule's experiments, what I showed you before. And they figured out that you can come back to the same state, and then they established, and also they came up with this first law of thermodynamics, where in a cyclic process, this is the first law of time for a cyclic process, right? Process. So I will continue with this, and I will come up with this definition of internal energy, right? And how did they figure it out? Right. So we can end it here. Okay, any questions? I will later on clarify about this minus and positive signs, work transfer, then potential energy and all that as we go along. So I also sometimes get confused, but when I will write the full energy balance, you'll all be clear what is positive and what is negative, right? It'll become much more clearer. Okay, I think we can end here. Yes? Any questions?
Yes, sir.
So I will clarify that as we go along. I will clarify this sign. No, because if you don't make the sign correct, your problems will be wrong. Answers will not come out. Okay, then we can call it a day.
Thank you, sir.
And I will stop the recording.